what is the expected political impact of the strong competition when it comes to the individual seats and the single party list, which is the national list for Egypt, in the governments for the second phase on the formation of the parliamentary majority?
I think that a strong competition will lead to more and more capable representatives who can represent the needs of their districts and the need of people, and also can judge governmental policies, review laws in favor of the people and in favor of Egypt in general.
So how can the new parliament, after the completion of this election process, in urban governments like Delta and the Sinai Peninsula, truly represent the aspirations and concerns of different segments of society?
The parliamentary elections, and particularly representative council, by its components, by its definition, it is the more close to the people. And the representatives, they are living in their district, grown up in it, knows what people need, and also have some, I expect that they have some programs, some visions to how to fulfill those needs and how to respond positively to the people demands. So I think this is the main factor will lead to a very active and positive representation for all the districts.
Well, since you've brought up vision there, what role will the newly elected representatives play when it comes to major, cities and areas like the Delta Governorate, when it comes to driving economic growth and social development and enhancing legislative support for these areas?
By also its authority, the parliament should judge the policies of the government and keeping an eye on the government by its definition and authority. And I think that role would be very important in the upcoming years, because we are going more and more and we have some development in the Egypt Strategy 2030. And the more we are closing to 2030, we need to have some judgment to what we did and what we still should do. So I think that Parliament will play a very important role in evaluating how far we succeed and how we did in 2030. And I think we did well in all the strategy. And I think also that Parliament should deal with the challenges, regional challenges. Egypt is surrounded by many challenges. The wars in Sudan, in Gaza, in Yemen, as well as in Libya. Still, Libya is not stable totally yet. So all that, the Parliament also has a very important and concrete role to deal with it.
Well, since you brought up the idea of, issues that face the nation when it comes to the border areas, part of the election process this time around is border areas like the Sinai Governorate, in addition to obviously the capital, Cairo. How will this diversity when it comes to the election process play out in Parliament when it comes to the legislative agenda, especially, as you've mentioned, when it comes to security and maintaining urban development in these border areas as well?
I think not only in Sinai, I mean, in all districts, the representatives is required to be more and more to people, to keep themselves open and open-minded, I mean, and also very close to the people in their district, because we have diversity of in the society. Yes, we have some common needs or common demands as humans, but for sure the people in Delta differ from Sinai, differ from Matruh, differ from Aswan, And this is the importance of the parliament, that by its components represent all diversity and can also express that diversity and needs. The more important is the needs of the people, how they would represent the needs of the people, ambitions, and how to fulfill that through the government policies. Because you may know that the opening of the parliament usually witness some address from His Excellency the Prime Minister about the policies of the government in the upcoming 5 years, or at least 1 year ahead. And here the parliament and representatives can judge that from their own perspective, and how far what the government introduce is fulfill the needs of the people in their district and in the region.
Well, also part of the process of representing people is being a candidate. Now, the competition is quite fierce when it comes to the second phase. There's over 1,000 people vying for the 142 seats there across 73 districts. How might this dynamic of fierce competition shape the responsiveness of representatives who will be elected in Parliament?
I think this is very healthy and very positive to have so many varieties in front of the people, and people can choose what the best or the better from their own point of view, and the one who can fulfill their needs. So I saw that competition is very positive, because each representative has his own way of solving the problems or fulfill the needs of the people, his ideas, his program, he and his part, of course, his plan. So we introduce many alternatives, many ways in front of the people, and the people would choose what they think right, and think that they can be successful in the future.
Well, yesterday we saw President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi casting in his vote and urging national participation in this election process. In your opinion, how does leadership endorsement when it comes to these election processes strengthen the legitimacy as well as advocate for civic duty and encourages people to take part in the electoral process?
I think that was very important, because His Excellency represent or introduce a model to the all Egyptian people to be followed. I mean, it was like a silent address to all people to go and to vote, and to vote to the one who think that he is better to them, close to them. So I think that was very effective for pushing the people to go and vote. And as I mentioned, it is like a role model, I mean, to be follow. And that was obvious, because since early the morning, people rushed, particularly women, to vote and to express their will in choosing their representatives.
Well, as you said earlier there, Dr. Nohan, that Egypt is quite a diverse place with a lot of different people. Now, part of the diversity is the National List for Egypt, which unites diverse parties under a national vision. How can the cohesion between these diverse parties translate into an actual effective legislative body or a teamwork effort when it comes to the development of Egypt and setting priorities for this development?
I think that our political parties are now more and more mature. They are not following their very tiny interest of partisan priorities or something like that. They are now follow the national interest, and they have some consensus of what should be done. Egypt is in a very, very critical moment toward development, toward peace. As I mentioned, we are surrounded by huge challenges and huge threats to our national security, to our national interests, to our people, and to our future. So I think that push political parties in Egypt to have some consensus about some main issues that related to national interest. And that helped to reach some common ground among them, and also to be mature enough in their competition, particularly in the second round.
If we can still talk about the diversity of the geography of Egypt as well, whether it be North Sinai or Cairo, as you've said, in your opinion, will this sort of enrich the Parliament's approach when it comes to security as well as development and the local governance in general? And will they be able to, find some sort of cohesion between them?
I think diversity is not, it is very positive. I mean, the more the parliament diverse, it means the more it represents the society, because all societies all over the world have some diversity in sometimes in culture and even in language in some states. In Egypt, a coherent in the society, the Egyptian society is very hard. We don't have, or we don't notice that much diverse among people, but still we differ, and the regions in their needs, in their priorities is differ. So I think this is very important and very healthy to have a diverse parliament, a diverse even in their vision to how to solve the problems, and this is very important. Each political party has his own vision for solving the problems, and I think that diversity would enrich the discussion later on in the parliament, and giving different point of views and different approaches to reach development, to solve problems, and that for sure in favor of Egypt as a country and in favor of the citizens.